Hello there, sports gamers. Welcome back into the channel. I'm Brandon Satterwhite, and this week we got news about both gameplay features and new Diamond Dynasty features coming to MLB The Show 24. On the gameplay side, we heard a little bit about new pitching difficulty as well as a bunch of new fielding animations that are being added to the game. And then on the Diamond Dynasty side, we heard about the new seasonal model, which is an improvement on the sets and season model from last year. We also heard about the new rewards and some of the new content that'll be coming to the game in Diamond Dynasty this year. There's a lot for us to go over here, so let's get into it.
Sports Gamers Online is the #1 source for the sports gamer.
All right, let's start off with the new improvements to gameplay in MLB The Show 24. We did finally get the gameplay trailer just about 2.5 weeks before the game launches. We finally get the actual gameplay trailer. It's like 30 seconds long. And unlike previous trailers where, they kind of hint at, stuff coming to modes like Franchise or Road to the Show, give you a little taste of it where it shows off the whole game. This one does not. It does not show really anything other than basic gameplay. So really not a whole lot to really look at with that trailer. But let's take a look at what is coming to gameplay this year. And the big thing is new animations. So they say 400 new animations, and focusing on fielder urgency, which has been an issue. You'll have fielders out there where ball gets hit to them and they kind of just, very lazily take their time fielding it, and, a slow throw over to first, allows a fast runner to beat out what should have been an easy out. So that is actually a pretty good addition. That's something that's needed some work for a while now. New throws from first base, so added a variety of new first baseman throws from the ground to all bases, enables first baseman to efficiently make throws from all overstretched scenarios. But in the little video, you've got a runner on second here, and the ball, it gets hit to the shortstop, throws over the first baseman, and the runner from second tries to score on a lazy throw from the shortstop, but the first baseman's able to throw it home and get the runner at home. So, no more stealing easy bases while your opponent isn't watching. Next up, pitcher animation. So this was interesting. It says, to combat the new disengagement rule, additional animations will allow pitchers to step off to fake throw and potentially nab the runner trying to take advantage of the third disengagement. Now, those of you who don't know, the disengagement rule was added to MLB last year, but it was not in MLB The Show last year. So I feel like this is confirmation that it's finally getting added into the game, which is interesting. A year late, it's getting added in finally. And speaking of new rules getting added in late, base sizes. So the bases are actually going to be bigger this year like they are in MLB. That was another rule change that came last year that didn't come to MLB The Show last year, was the bigger bases. And so they say they've had to capture new logic and tag animations to account for the extra coverage needed. It is nice to see the bases, the rule changes that should have been in the game last year are finally coming to the game this year. And then we get to the pitcher difficulty being increased. So they've added some different motions. So all of the pitching difficulty that's been added this year has been for pinpoint pitching. And so you see, some new motions you'll have to do when using pinpoint pitching here. Also, they've changed it so when you're using a left-handed pitcher, the motion will actually be flipped. So you'll go the opposite direction when using a left-handed pitcher as compared to a right-handed pitcher. So you'll have to be able to get used to making that motion both with a left-handed and right-handed pitcher in order to be good at the game. And if you are able to be good at the game, there is added reward for being good. So now the par region, which is the perfect accuracy region, when you have a breaking pitch like a 12-6 curve or a slurve or a sweeping curve, you're now, when you make a perfect pitch, you will be guaranteed to have your pitch land inside the par instead of just touching the par, which is a very good change. That's something I do like to see that they have changed. And then this is interesting. So we've talked about pitching, we've talked about fielding, and it's like, but we know some of you are curious about improvements made to hitting. And they say, we received very positive feedback around most gameplay aspects last year, and we agree that hitting is in a great place at the moment. And because of that, in MLB The Show 24, hitting balance remains largely unchanged. So that is interesting to see. I have never seen a sports game blatantly say that a part of gameplay is going to be largely unchanged. Now, to be fair, hitting did feel very, very good in MLB The Show 23. I agree with that statement, and I felt like they didn't really need to do a whole lot to hitting this year. The one thing I would have liked to have seen is take elevation out as a factor in hitting on the competitive gameplay style. So that's what you play on when you're in Diamond Dynasty, when you're in online head-to-head and stuff like that. I would have liked elevation to be removed from that playstyle. Leave it in simulation, so like when you're playing franchise mode and you go to course field or somewhere with higher elevation, you get that effect. But in a competitive game mode, I don't want to do that because I don't like it that in Diamond Dynasty, you basically have to play at the minor league ballparks that have high elevation or course field or a custom stadium that has high elevation in order to get any sort of exit velocity, because for some reason, all of the MLB fields have awful elevation and you get terrible exit velocity when you should be getting pretty good exit velo, pretty good power on really good swings. For some reason, that still doesn't really happen. So that is something I wish they would have fixed with hitting this year. I don't know. They haven't said anything about elevation being removed, so it seems like that's still going to be in a game, which is a little bit disappointing. Other than that, I agree that hitting felt really good last year, but again, part of that could be because in MLB The Show 23, in Diamond Dynasty at least, we had 99 overall players on day one, so was the hitting masked by the fact that we had really high-rated players. That's something we're going to see this year because as we move over to the developer blog for Diamond Dynasty this year, we are not going to be having the 99s on day one with Diamond Dynasty. It says right here, fewer high-tier 99 overalls at the start of each season. And so they are still going to be doing seasons this year. So they had 6 seasons last year. Doesn't say how many they will have. They says they will last 12 weeks each, so about 3 months. So I figure that will come out to around 4 seasons. Around 4 seasons, because 4 times 3 is 12 months in a year. So I figure about 4 seasons. So they're going to be pretty long considering we had 6 seasons last year. But let's get into the new stuff coming with Diamond Dynasty. So basically, the new seasons, it's going to be similar to last year where you're going to have your in-season cards. So like right here, you have a Season 1 card. It's marked as S1, which last year meant Set 1. Now it means Season 1. And during a season, you can only use that season's cards as well as the Core Series cards in your Diamond Dynasty loadout. So it is going to be similar to last year where eventually all of the cards that you earn are going to be locked away, at least in certain modes. They didn't say in this blog specifically which modes. I don't know if it's going to be the same as last year, if it's still going to be where some modes you can use all of them and some modes you can't. I'm not sure. They didn't specifically say that. I'm hoping that that's the case where at least you'll have some modes where you can use all of your cards. But you will still have these ones where once Season 1 ends, they are gone. So there will be no more seasonal overlap. So last year, you could use a Season 1 card in Season 1 or Season 2, but then once Season 3 came, Season 1 was gone. Now, as soon as Season 1 ends, they are gone. You cannot use them in Season 2 or any other season moving forward. And then we will still have the Core Series cards, which you can use in any season. This will be the Live Series cards, as well as like collections, so the Live Series collection. They also pointed out this Vlad Guerrero Jr. is going to be core as well, this reward. I don't know what they said this reward was for. It's some sort of collection award. It's a core card collection award, actually, of Legends and Flashbacks. So you'll have core collections where you collect so many core cards, and it gives you a core reward that you can use whenever. You also will be able to earn more wildcard slots in later seasons. So last year, you only ever had the one wildcard slot where you could use a card that was not eligible for your season. Now you'll be able to unlock extra ones by progressing the season reward path, is what it says. So the season XP reward path, beginning in Season 2, you'll be able to unlock up to 4 wildcard slots for your team. Then talking about the new rewards coming to the game, you have Cornerstone cards. So these are like captains with a little bit more of a oomph to them. We have seen, so here's an example of some of these new cornerstone captains that are coming. So we have seen what some of these boosts are going to be like. So like Byron Buxton, I think his was like, so you have to use so many hitters with low vision, but you get a boost to power and speed. Or Greg Maddux, his is you either have so many hitters that meet a criteria or so many pitchers that meet a criteria, and then he boosts both those hitters and those pitchers. So you will have captains this year that boost both hitters and pitchers on your team, which I think will be pretty cool. But at the start of each season, you'll get a pack that has 4 cornerstone captains, and you'll get to pick one of them to start off with that you'll get for free. Also, at the start of each season, you'll get this free Season 1 starter kit with 5 The Show packs in it, and then you'll get the Head Start rewards for the previous season. So a little bit of free goodies there at the start of each season. I think we got a little bit of that last year with the Head Start rewards, but it is nice to see you getting at least a little bit, even, 5 packs, maybe, it helps a little bit at least, getting some extra seasonal cards there. And so throughout the 12 weeks in a season, you're basically going to have what was previously the power creep that we saw over all of a year for Diamond Dynasty within just 12 weeks. So at launch of Season 1, the highest overalls in the game, you're going to have the 91s. And then as we move through Season 1, eventually we'll get the 99. And then when Season 1 ends and Season 2 begins, those top tier cards go away, and we're back to only having, maybe 92 or 93s as Season 2 begins. And then you go eventually work your way back up again. Not sure how I feel about this, because the main issue I had with sets and seasons last year was the repeated content. And so what that was we were seeing players basically get the same cards over and over and over again. I think there were like 3 or 4 99 overall Kyle Schwarbers get released, all with very similar stats, very similar positions. And it's like, why would I spend my time grinding for that when I already have 2 other 99 overall Kyle Schwarber cards? And I feel like we're going to see this again, especially with it being power creep. So we're going to see, a 94 King Griffey Jr. in Season 1 just to turn around and see a 95 King Griffey Jr. in Season 2 with barely better stats. It's like, I feel like I already did this. And at least that's what I'm worried about, and we'll see how it ends up working out this year. There also have been a few changes to some modes within Diamond Dynasty. So the ranked program, the rewards in the ranked seasons program will be sellable again. That is going back on a change that they made last year, where they made BR and ranked and event rewards all non-sellable. Now we know at least ranked program rewards will be sellable again, which is nice. However, BR program rewards, there's nothing about that yet, about those program rewards being sellable. However, in Battle Royale, Flawless, now it says will start at 10-0 instead of 12-0 from past years. So it's interesting to see what it means when it says will start at 10-0. So I'm not sure if that will go up throughout the year, if as you get better and better players, they become available, if later on in the year we'll have to do better than 10-0 to get Flawless. But at least at launch, you will only have to go 10-0 to get the Flawless pack this year. And now this year, events will be 2 weeks long each, which will give everyone more time to earn those rewards, which I think is a pretty nice change. I didn't like how some events would last for a while and then others would be like super short and you hardly had any time to get what you needed. Also, starting when the game launches, keep an eye on the show shop each week for a free pack, including some theme drops throughout the MLB season. We saw this a little bit last year, at least with discounted packs, where you could get like the first pack of a new exclusive to the show shop pack. Usually they would cost 50,000. You could get your first one for only 10,000 stubs. Saw that. So interesting to see what those free packs will be. Here's a hint for the first one that they give. Where will the first MLB games be played during the regular season, which I believe is Korea, if I'm not wrong on that. Yeah, and then the other big change is Team Affinity. So now, with the seasons lasting so long, basically 3 months, we are going to get 3 Team Affinity drops each season. So you'll have your first one at the beginning with the launch of a season, and then another midway through, and another near the end. And each Team Affinity drop will still have the 30 players, one from each of the MLB teams. And so we do see that Brian Dozier, by the way, is a new legend coming to the game this year. He will be in the first Team Affinity drop when the game launches this year. We also see the Takashi Okazaki series. Vlad Guerrero from MLB The Show 22 is back, so interesting to see that card coming back. I remember that one a lot back in the day. And they do see that Team Affinity will progress faster than it did in the past because you're going to have so much of the Team Affinity dropping. You will progress these faster, and there will be more ways to progress them. It says you can expect moments, multiplayer missions, single player missions, repeatable missions, conquest, showdown, and exchanges with each drop. That's going to just about wrap things up here for this video, y'all. Let me know down in the comments, what did you think of these gameplay and Diamond Dynasty changes coming to MLB The Show 24? We do know that we will get a little bit more info about Diamond Dynasty in the final feature premiere. It'll be a live content feature premiere on March 14th, which will be the day before early access launch of the game, which means, so we know what one of the two remaining feature premieres is for. It's the live content. It's always the last one, which means there's only one left, and they still have not talked about they talked about gameplay in a blog, but not in a feature premiere. They haven't talked presentation. They haven't talked commentary. They haven't talked franchise. They haven't talked March to October. They haven't talked Road to the Show. It's going to be interesting to see what that next feature premiere looks like. So stay tuned for that. We'll have all of the news and coverage on that when it does drop. But until then, y'all, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave it a like and subscribe. For all your sports gaming news and updates, stay tuned to Sports Gamers Online. I'm Brandon Satterwhite with SGO. Thank you for watching.